Well, we're back. I love your red. You didn't tell me. I would have put on a red tie. You know, I love red ties.
Isn't there red in your mask?
Yeah, no, but it pales in comparison with the dominant blue. Yeah.
Seriously, if I had said to you I was going to wear this, you would have put on something.
Yeah. Charlie, because me,
you changed.
If I'm selecting something in terms of the main dress, I'll blue always. But tie always.
There can be a touch of red.
Charlie, red. I don't prefer. Anyway, how are you?
I'm good.
I hope you slept well.
I did.
One thing I do know is that we're all not afraid of coronavirus again, which should not be the case.
I am actually.
Yeah,
I am too. Very much afraid of coronavirus.
I'm talking general, what the generic feeling is, and I don't think it should be the case.
Well, communities are not necessarily reflecting that fear that you talk about. Of course, we should be afraid of COVID-19. Of course, there's still no vaccine. We hear Russia coming up with something. But there isn't any vaccine. But if there was, look at the entire world population. When would it get to our turn? You get it? So there's so much to be still afraid of COVID-19. You know,
Bill Gates, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and the entire Bill Gates empire, they sponsored or used about $150 million just to make sure we research into a vaccine. And we're hoping that we can get that. But the thing is, can we get access? And it's good that you pointed that to us. That despite all the noise we're making, when the vaccine comes, it will only go to some few people. And because of the rush or the demand for it, it definitely...
America is ready to put whatever amounts on anything that's discovered anywhere so that they can be the first to get a hold on it. But we're talking about coronavirus. So let's check real quick. Let's see the updates that we can share with you in terms of our Ghana situation.
Well, so total confirmed cases, that is from when we started recording, March 12, when we had 2. Now we have 41,572 Ghanaians having been infected. That's just the rate. Now, which are the active cases? So we have 2,029. I am tempted to add only 2,029. Of course, forgive me if you think that I shouldn't be using only, but it's because we've had 39,320. Indeed, well, again, forgive me, I just said just, because one death is still very tragic. 223 people dying. I'm saying this because if you compare to what the figures are on the continent elsewhere in the world, Ghana has really done well in the management of the COVID. But there are other scientific reasons to that could be adduced to argue this case out. So we have critical cases 5, severe 18, and 3 of these infected people on ventilators. And just new cases we're having, per what we have, 168 so far. So it looks like the trend based on what the estimator going down per the records. All right. In order not to bore you with too many figures, I have to also say that the two of us are encouraging you. Please adhere to the protocols, right?
Yes, absolutely. I think the reason we are sharing is because when you go to most communities, it's as if there isn't any coronavirus at all. We're living like there's no disease called coronavirus that we still don't have a cure for. So we're just encouraging you to still do the things that when we went under lockdown, when it was eased, when we all started talking, when we're getting daily or regular updates in the week, I think 3 times or so, or twice. Let's go back to the things that we're doing when we're doing all those things. You get what I mean? That's what shows that we're actively doing something. You talk about the fact that we're doing well, but check the continent of Africa, and it is said that Ghana and Nigeria, for instance, are the 2 countries in West Africa that they have to keep an eye on. It doesn't mean that we're doing so well when you talk about the continent itself. The countries that they point to and they say they're doing extremely well are Uganda, for instance.
But the national COVID team has justified that. It's because we've done more testing than many of these, and that is why we're getting more of these. So, well, Depends on what the argument is. I know Mama is shaking her head profusely. But look, let's do
the newspapers now.
Straight away.
Let me, and I'm checking. It's Thursday, August 13, 2020. The Daily Graphic.
Mama, I love your red.
Front page.
You know, Graphic 2 has its logo as red.
What are you saying? Are you saying I'm graphic?
I mean, you're checking the graphic.
Okay, let's look at, and this is the update from the Electoral Commission's briefing yesterday. EC confidence of credible register, nearly 17 million voters captured. As you heard in the news, the number of persons who use the Ghana card, 60.9%. And then those who went on the guarantor system, 37.99%. Those of us who went with the passport, just a small figure of 1.92%. But the thing that's grabbing everybody's attention is the fact that we still have minors, we still have foreigners who registered. And to think that we really didn't cure that with the new register, it's got a lot of people still talking. Did we really go through this whole process just to repeat what we know is the story each time we do an exercise like this? It's one of our big conversations on the show today. Also, government World Bank vote $200 million for job creation. Police caution political parties against vigilantes. But you know that just cautioning is not enough. We've seen it, and there has to be action. If we have a law, why do you caution people? Just deal with them if they go against what we have. Not sure we've seen the law actively being activated, and so I'm not sure about cautioning, but we'll check out a bit of details when we get there. UG Chancellor elected fellow African Academy of Sciences. That story is also in the paper today in the center spread. Parliament approves 2 credit facilities. Ensure clean campaigns. Clergy urge politicians. NAT calls for stakeholder consultations on reopening dates for schools. The Ghana National Association of Teachers has called for a broad stakeholder engagement before any decision is taken on the appropriate dates to reopen schools in the country. Such engagements, it said, should involve the Ghana Medical Association, teacher unions, parents, the Ministry of Education, and the Ghana Education Service, among other key stakeholders. On the back page of the paper today, Cocoa Board rehabilitates farms affected by swollen shoot disease. And there's a sad incident of a police officer or a policeman accidentally killed by a colleague in the Bono region. A bit of that story for you. It says tragedy hit the rapid deployment force of the Bono Regional Police Command when a member of the team, Corporal Rexford Amwako, was allegedly shot and killed accidentally by one of his colleagues. According to the police, the RDF was deployed from Sunyai last Monday for highway patrol duties within Doma. However, during the operation, a member of the team allegedly fired his gun accidentally, which killed Corporal Mwako in the Diaba forest in the Doma West District. The Bono Regional Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Police Service confirmed the incident to the Daily Graphic. He said investigation had begun to ascertain the actual cause of the tragic accident. Oh, and I hope that, you know, we treat it as a crime so that we can unravel all the things associated with it, but not say it was an accidental shooting. Let investigations arrive at that. Let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper front page. At the end of voter registration exercise, Greater Accra Ashanti top electoral roll with over 3.5 million, 3 million voters respectively. House approves $1.3 billion loan for Cocoa Board to purchase cocoa beans. Armed robbers gunned down pastor at Ejiso Tikrum. And then we will continue to support youth amid COVID-19. That's the vice president saying there. But the story of armed robbers gunning a pastor down, that story is in page 13. Suspected robbers have shot and killed the head pastor of the Jehovah Nisi Evangelical Ministry branch of Ejuso took home in Ashanti on Wednesday. The pastor, Reverend Maxwell Atakra, 44, was killed at his residence at Enyinem, this is Kejase in the Ishiaso constituency of Ashanti at about 3 a.m. Members of the church, family, and neighbors are yet to come out of the shock. Associate pastor of the church, Douglas Safo, indicated that, quote, I received a phone call from my pastor, that's the deceased wife, and she told me Pastor Maxwell Atakra has been shot dead by armed robbers, unquote. Oh. And still quoting the wife, the robbers rushed to the bedroom of the deceased and ordered them to bring their money. I quickly rushed to the house and saw Pastor Maxwell Atakra's lifeless body lying on the floor. This is such a sad incident there, to think that we're going through all the challenges that we're going through today. People losing jobs, people not making the monies that they used to make. But we have a bunch of people who think that they can freely go and other people to give them their belongings, as if we're not going through our challenges already. This is really, really sad. Our condolences to the church members and the families as well. We hope that the police will do a good job in arresting these robbers. On the back page of the Times, IWA, that's the Importers and Wholesalers Association, deplores influx of substandard face shields on markets. Also, Agric Extension agents in 3 northern regions undergo training in cashew farming. The last paper for me will be the Business Finder front page. AGI welcomes 100 billion Ghana cedis CARES Fund, ready to engage government on details. And then ADB shareholders will enjoy dividends soon, according to the board chairman. We will continue to keep faith with customers. That's CBG making that assurance. But a bit of this. This story on the front page, the Association of Ghana Industry says it will soon commence engagements with government on the details of the 100 billion Ghana cedis COVID-19 alleviation and revitalization of enterprises support program. This is Chief Executive Officer of the association, Chum Akwabwa, telling the Business Finder the lack of clarity over the details of the program and role to be played by the private sector makes it imperative for engagement between the private sector and the Ministry of Finance. The rest of the story, you can grab the paper and read. The Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications has welcomed the reduction in the communication service tax, but urged government to scrap the tax since, quote, the CST is targeted at sectors that are more productive but vulnerable. And this is Kenneth Ashigwe, the man who celebrated his birthday yesterday, who's the chief executive of the chamber, speaking to the Finder. The rest of the story, and then the Ghana government will evacuate its nationals stranded in Lebanon in the coming days following the deadly explosions in its capital, Beirut. The Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Charles Oredu, said the government expected to evacuate the remaining 1,500 stranded Ghanaian nationals in Lebanon. So that's updates on that situation as well. Really, that will be it for the Finder, Roland.
Okay, so straight away, let me bring you what's on the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. We do have, again, the updates on the figures, and I promise you right on the air, I'm sure we'll do some analysis in a day or two about what figures we have currently as far as the publications or the data from the Electoral Commission and what the extrapolations are. So we have voter registration has ended, comparison between 2020 and 2016 voter registrations period, or the registers. The Greater Accra has additionally over 444,000 voters, 222,000 central, and then northern region. Look, if you look at the figures as they're coming in from the Electoral Commission, the central region seem to be increasing, Greater Accra as well, and then there's some declines that is being witnessed in northern Ghana, and then you have the Volta region. Well, those who are NDC members are very much interested in that area as well, but it's for good reason. It doesn't mean that the people are not around. They're all in Ghana, but it's just that the incrementals in the registration numbers seem to be declining over a period. So we'll try and do that. We just started it a couple of days ago. So we'll quickly wrap it up and let you know. Election 2020, don't dare us. Police warn against violence. On the side, it is a tease out of that report or survey by the Media Foundation for West Africa, and they're already indicating, and we brought this on JoyNews for you, radio stations responsible for 70% of ethical violence. All right, flouting guidelines, ethics.
Isn't it just like the fact that we have a vigilante law in place today, but then you see the police still cautioning?
Yeah. The media. So we're also part of the problem. While
I was just going to say that there's also a National Media Commission, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and if you look at those who flout these ethics, those who do the wrong things, it's the same people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they know them. Don't they have a monitoring system? Because they do. The NMC insists that they do have a monitoring system.
They do.
Yeah.
Okay.
But big ups to the Media Foundation for West Africa. I think they've been very consistent with this.
Yeah. Yep. So on the back page, we have another story, and it's about Osu Mancha advises NDC running mates, be prepared to stomach insults. Insults. One more insult or what?
Stomach it. Why should they even insult?
But even the political figures
should deal with
are throwing jabs at each other. Insults. They're insulting each other. So, and that's a reality. So it's been copied. And sometimes I keep wondering why we punish the senior schools, because sometimes it's a reflection of what's at the top.
Roland, I don't think it's sometimes though. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Charlie.
Isn't that what they see? Isn't that what they're learning? So that's what they will exhibit.
I agree.
Yeah, you can't give out what you're not getting.
Call a spade a spade.
That's it.
All right, so we have the daily guide, has on the front page, Mahama is old cargo. Bawumia fire. Bawumia to feed the fire. Jesus Christ. This man. Fire. But, well, while there was an event to introduce the running mate, that is Nana Jenopoko Ajiman, of John Dramani Mahama, to the clergy, and Assemblies of God member, he said he's not going to insult, so he's not going to throw jabs. But Charlie Bawumia is hot, and this one, I don't know. I think the former president needs to do something about it. You can't say that Charlie,
But we know our politicians, depending on where they are, they will say, yo, and then they'll say something else if they found themselves in another spot. We know it.
Yeah.
And you can't go and stand in front of a pastor and say...
But you can't let these things be rubbing on you. Try to fire back small.
But this was just yesterday.
But 2016, the question is 123. All right, so we have students paid light bill and the NDC. Yeah. And we also have women top voters register, 51%, little above.
To be fair, I think some of the jabs, I mean, it's just a bit below, it's too petty.
Below the belt.
We have to rise and deal with the substantive matters, I think. Sometimes it gets really annoying with some of the things that you hear.
All right, so $1.3 billion approved for the cocoa board to buy cocoa beans. And then Kunedu wanted to succeed Rollins Ahoy. Rollins.
This Ahoy book, dear. We have to check how much money he's made with the book. But if you disagree with him, you two write a book. He said it is working with Rollins. It's his perspective.
Yeah.
Were you there? So you two write a book.
So the Daily Statesman also has a crafty Rollins democratize violence. Ahoy demonizes NDC founder in explosive book. No ECOWAS register for 2020, EC assures, but we have foreigners on the register.
Exactly.
So if you're a foreigner, it's outside the border of Ghana. So we are bordered by ECOWAS countries. So it's not an ECOWAS register, but we have some ECOWAS citizens and other citizens of the EU, Asia,
but that's because just because you've decided to compile a new register doesn't mean you've dealt with the real issues.
Yeah.
You haven't.
Yesterday we were discussing this, right?
Yeah, we haven't.
Annoyingly so.
We haven't.
I don't know why you decided to register. Okay, so.
But it's almost an impossible task.
I give you just 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah. This is just thanks to the graphic.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do MyJoyOnline.com before we run off. Roland, whilst we try to do that, what are you highlighting on?
Now, my highlights basically is on the number of foreigners and then also the minors that we have the register. And I know that this discussion began towards the afternoon or the latter part of yesterday for us. And it's about the rationale that was given by the Electoral Commission to convince or compel
the justification for a new register.
So I kept wondering, why is it that the systems were not talking to each other? If this was an upgrade on the structure, the technology that we were using to do the registration. Because I do know, if you have an intranet or internet, you pop in a data, an information, and there's already one in the system, and it's a replication. It will tell you, look, this is popping. So we should have had that in real time or something.
Well, the Electoral Commission has been answering some questions related to that.
I've been listening to them.
And they, for instance, talked about how somebody's finger, the data they collected, the thumb or the data they collected with the fingers could match about over 100 other persons. So if you are doing that,
are not identical.
Well, but that's what they said, for instance.
It's unique
and they said this
everybody.
has happened. I listened to Dr. Asrebo Kwaku make that comment. And so if you did that automatically to eliminate people on the go, you would be getting people who should be legitimately be on the register. So there are things associated with it. It's not that simple, they say. But I get you, and I know that we're going to get into that matter proper.
Our time is up, but this is what we have on MyJoyOnline.com. Ghana's active COVID-19 cases dropped significantly. The Ghana Health Service is indicating. We have also other stories there. Make sure that you get onto MyJoyOnline.com, get the latest. It is your birthday. You're usually called Uncle Robert. Mr. Robert Abeka Aqua. You live in Cape Coast. You're 7 scores and 1 today. That's your age. Well, if you can read the Bible, you should know this. So this one is coming from your son, Ernest Morgan Aqua, who is the general manager of Zoom Lion Accra Zone, and your daughters, as well as the rest of the family. And they say they love you so much. All right.
Stunning performance from PSG in the Champions League. A lot of what you missed yesterday. What is to come today? Coming up next in sports.